He never did serious sport until joining Pro Sumo at 19, yet here he is over 2 decades later, setting all kinds of records at 41. Coming into the fold with no injury past has undoubtedly aided his run. Will Tamawashi's ultimate legacy be that child wrestlers end up fighting less? Batjargalin Munk Orgil was born on November 16, 1984, the exact same day as Toyohibiki, who he naturally saw as a rival. Batjargalin seemed perfectly happy to train for a job in the hotel industry and enjoy casual games of football and basketball with his mates. But while starting his student exchange at Tokyo Uni Graduate School, he got curious about sumo and took a trip to the Ryogoku heartland with his older sister. There he pursued a cycling wrestler to Izutsu stable, got introduced to the master there, and had tea served for him by a young Kakuryu. He walked away from that meeting with Kyokushuzan's phone number and an eventual pathway to Kataonami stable, which he entered in January 2004. For context, that was when Asashoryu was still a quite new yokozuna. 7 winning scores from 8 post-debut took Washi to Division 3 by mid-2005, where, after a stuttering start, he established himself to the point he could aim for and grab that tier's title in September 2007. Hakuho taking Division 1 for the first time as yokozuna. Legend has it that Tamawashi, during those first 3 years, avoided chatting with wrestlers from outside his own stable, to avoid developing sympathies that he might have carried into bouts. He also hurt his neck in those years, and opted to treat the problem by boosting its muscle content, jamming his head against the wall as he slept to force it to take more pressure. My sumo is all about head-first charges, so it was great I strengthened my neck when I did, otherwise I'd be long retired, he would say in later years of his Binsuke oil-stained wall. A tense final bout win over Jumonji to close 2007 earned Tamawashi a salaried berth, which he took up with such relish he was soon in Division 1. But he would lose that status 5 times over the coming 5 years, at a stage when straight top-flight appearance records wouldn't have entered his mind. One such demotion did, though, bring a maiden second-tier crown in September 2009. 2010 brought a first bout with Hakuho, and a first-ever win over his unofficial recruiter. But 2011 consisted entirely of negative scores. Largely scrubbed from the conscience now is his suspension of that year, which luckily coincided with the cancelled spring meet. Washi's crime was to drink too much at the January after-party and smash a restaurant window. He now drinks markedly less. 2012, meanwhile, had him secretly wed to the sister of Taka Kasuga, who, 3 stable moves later, would join him at Kataonami and fight as Tamashoho. In November 2014, just 4 days before hitting 30, Washi showed just how strong his neck had become by taking out rival Tochinoshin with an initial headbutt. That was their 13th meeting from the total of 37, which has left them with an unbreakable bond. Most remarkable is Tamawashi's transformation since reaching 30. His Saiyaku level bow came 4 months after that milestone, the slowest ever achieved by a foreign-born fighter. The same could be said for the first gold star he attained in May 2015. I want to stay poker-faced, but it feels so amazing I can't help but smile, Washi told the press. He also claimed he was inspired by the competent salaried debut of one-time attendant Kagayaki. Washi's sumo style was then revamped in the summer of 2016, when a left knee injury mid-July, rendering him unable to rise from the loo, obliged him to lower his stance. By November he was upsetting, 1 yokozuna and 3 ozeki, ending a 20-bout winning run by Goedo, who had claimed the cup against him not 2 months before. A first special prize for technique ensued for expert use of reach, again the slowest ever achieved by a foreign-born. His rise to Sekiwake for 2017 was the 5th most prolonged of all time, but the tears he shed were in sorrow, not joy, in honor of Koto Shogiku, the revered stable group senior, who he ended up dropping to Sekiwake. Washi was also in the ring when Hakuho equaled the all-time record of 1,047 wins. It's great they replay that contest so much, Washi would later reflect. I look at it, just like the Goedo title bout, and go, that's what I did wrong. Next time I'll be better prepared. Despite hurting his right ankle against Takayasu in September, he powered towards a best-ever top-flight score at the end of that year, felling 1 yokozuna, defeating another by default in that man's last appearance on the card, and derailing both these title contenders. July 2018 gave him, in complete contrast to his caring side, a brutish reputation, as he put Tochinoshin, Koto Shogiku, and Chiyo-no-Kuni out of the same meet. He would beat Kiseno Sato again in September of that year, but suffer a massive losing score which sparked fears of a decline. But a mere 4 months later would pundit Mainomi be saying, "Never has the phrase, 'You don't know what'll happen in sumo,' taken on greater meaning." On the day his second son was born, Tamawashi became the second oldest claimant of the Emperor's Cup, with outstanding performance and fighting spirit prizes thrown in. "Next time I'd like my wife to be present," the eagle grinned as he posed with the trophy. Perhaps inevitably, he became the first champion since Kyokutenho to fall short of a winning score in the following meet. But May saw him impressing again with 7 wins on the bounce, the first of which brought the first gold star of the new imperial era, fittingly against the man who'd welcomed him in and served him tea. Henceforth, he'd become a byword for late-blooming success, creeping up the chart for most successive total appearances, and taking over the lanyard for most career wins after Hakuho retired. The 700th of those came in November 2021, which also brought his 10th straight winning score in that month. He predicted Terunofuji would go 15-0 in that one, then ended that winning streak as the New Year winds blew in. By May, he would be achieving a 57-year first. 3 gold stars off the same yokozuna in back-to-back meets. And tag on a 4th that September, blasting past all 3 ozeki as well to become the oldest title winner for a century. November thus saw him back in Seiyaku, just days shy of 38. Now the oldest active salaried man post Shohozan's departure. The latter even encouraging him by phone to keep beating back age. "They say things always happen in threes," Washi mused in 2023. "Hence I think I need another cup, as my youngest son still doesn't grasp the sumo title concept." Privately, he expressed a wish to continue in Asash until that youngest son would start school in 2026. He became a Japanese citizen in March 2024, and claimed the all-time record for successive career outings 6 months after that. He then mooted whether his strength had dropped in early January 2025, before posting a 9-6 and besting a Hakuoho who was 19 years younger. At 40 years and 8 months, he became sumo's oldest gold star winner, snatching a record that had stood for 85 years, and claiming a special prize at an age no one else has, a 3rd outstanding performance gong. Lesser known are the facts he has more top-flight default wins than anyone else, and has been superstitious enough to decline black pen autographs mid-meet as black symbolizes defeat. His hobbies he lists as accessory and sweet making, and observing other people, which perhaps can't be half as fun as it is for us to watch him.